On this episode of the Best in BA podcast, I had the honor and privilege to sit down with Kim Vento, the executive director of the Broken Arrow Performing Arts Center, and talk all things theater, Broken Arrow, and all of the exciting programs and shows that are coming up soon. So, hope you enjoy. I just wanted to give just a sort of a quick background on how we got here. Stars on Stage, and will you remind me who came and spoke at Rotary about Stars on Stage?
Actually, what happened is I was supposed to speak, and my vacation got changed. So we had a couple of our students come and speak to Rotary, and the Rotary Club sponsors our T-shirts for Stars on Stage, and we are just so grateful for what they do for our kids, and they've been a longtime sponsor of the program. Stars on Stage is a Broken Arrow Public Schools program that we do through the Broken Arrow Performing Arts Center, where we take kids who with disabilities and we have them star in a complete musical. And beside them is a peer mentor, and they are there simply in the shadow to help the kids navigate if they need it. And a lot of times they don't, but they're just like having your best friend behind you to make sure if you need a line cued or you need your wheelchair pushed or you need help changing costumes or just to be that shadow of support to help them navigate, an hour and a half show. It's, something those kids haven't ever done. So it's can be scary for any of us that get in front of a whole bunch of people and act. Imagine if it was you or I, we'd still be nervous. So having their buddy behind them kind of helps them navigate. But most of the time they take off and they don't need help. They can do it themselves. So
they stole the room at that meeting and they were just, answering every questions, and they'd be like, anything else? Anything else? And I think I even was able to say to them, I was like, because they were talking about how they both were super like in their shell, didn't have, as many friends and stuff like that, and how it really kind of brought them out and meeting people. But I was able to bring up, like, I meet a lot of, I guess, people who you would see as like successful business owners who are terrified, even at that level, of public speaking in any capacity or getting in front of a room. So I was able to give them a little bit of props. I was like, that's super cool. And even the way they were commanding the room, I'm like, it was awesome. It was fun to see. But I just wanted to briefly hit on that. We can come back more to that program, but I would love it if you could just kind of explain your role at the Performing Arts Center. I know that after moving here, I've been here a year. I drove past that building so many times, and I'm like, as I'm learning about all the programs, I'm like, we have a Performing Arts Center right here in the heart of Broken Arrow. I'm excited to learn about it.
Yeah, so the Performing Arts Center is owned by the school district. It was built in 2009. It was named after Kristen Chenoweth in 2013. So it's the Broken Arrow Performing Arts Center. Also inside the theater is named the Kristen Chenoweth Theater. And of course, Kristen Chenoweth graduated from here and has been a huge support for us. Essentially, the whole idea of the arts or the Performing Arts Center being built downtown was to centralize it to all of our schools and to also be a community theater for the community to either rent, use, or to bring, talent to Broken Arrow. And so that's what we do. It's very unique. I can tell you, I don't know of a theater like it in the 13 years that I've been with the theater, 32 with Broken Arrow Public Schools, but 13 with the theater that does what we do. So first and foremost, of course, is our students. Our focus is about arts education and also supporting all of our students, whether it be, our second, third, fourth, fifth graders come into a artistic educational experience, Tulsa Symphony working with our kids, the Tulsa Ballet performing for our kids. That's our first and foremost main focus. But aside of that, we started Stars on Stage a few years ago. So we're in year 6 with that. So that's bringing kids, our goal was, what can we do to bring kids in the theater who normally aren't on stage? Mm-hmm. So of course our band kids are on stage, our choir kids are on stage, but what are groups that aren't on our stage? And so Stars on Stage was created with that focus from our team. I mean, it was our idea, and we did the research and learned how to do that and created the program ourselves. And I tell you, the byproducts from it are crazy. Aside of that, too, we bring in, with a partnership, Arts OK presents a spotlight series. So we work with Arts OK, which also owns Arts at 302. Mm-hmm. And we bring in nationwide talent to perform on stage. And that's either national touring musicals that visit all the big cities. It's the same, same tours, Broadway performers, comedians. And so it brings that nightlife down into the Rose District. Of course, the theater was built before the Rose District blossomed. And so, it's a beautiful thing to see, the Performing Arts Center now in the Rose District. So it's just a great, environment to go down, grab a bite to eat, these awesome restaurants, walk around, shop, and then come at night and go to the show.
Mm-hmm.
So the Spotlight Series is a big part of that. And then, of course, we do all the things with Kristen Chenoweth. So one is the Kristen Chenoweth Broadway Boot Camp that we do every summer. Also, nationally, internationally known. People don't even have any idea. We have kids this year coming from 27 states and 5 countries.
Wow.
There's 89 kids coming. They fly in from all over the world, and we do an 11-day camp with a show at the end that is just the most unique and awesome experience, even in my job with Kristen. And she flies in A-list Broadway professionals from, New York, New Jersey, LA, to come in and teach these kids. And so the last night, which would be July 25th this year, we put on a show for the community, and it always sells out. And the kids not only get to experience these performers in an educational way, but they also get to perform beside them.
Mm-hmm.
And these are people that they see on Broadway. These are people that they know and, follow as young artists who are wanting to become, professionals in their career path in this. And so we actually do all that right here in Broken Arrow,
Wow.
Oklahoma. Oklahoma is not Broadway, but we bring Broadway to Oklahoma. So, yeah, and then, of course, we do rentals and all kinds of community events. Our firefighters graduate from there. Our police department graduates from there. And we have lots of youth groups that have theater programs that rent the space, and dance recitals, weddings, funerals. My gosh, we are crazy with events. So it's a pretty iconic place. And I don't know if people really realize all the things that we do that just aren't the norm for a performing arts center to do in a community. And a big part of that is because the school district is such an arts-driven, supporting focus that they allow and we thrive in this as an educational component in the arts. So I am so blessed to be a part of it, and I will never say I run it. My team runs it. We partner together to do it, and our Small and Mighty team runs this and the Kirkland Theater, which is an 860-seater down the street. So we're busy folks, and even though sometimes you think the parking lot's empty, it's a busy place.
Yeah, well, I've just been blown away since moving here. Hence why I have fallen in love with Broken Arrow and the businesses here, and I'm like, how can I help people connect with the community truly? Like the example that I give is I had popped into a few businesses on the Rose District, and I had just posted them on social media, just on a personal page. It wasn't Best in BA yet, and there were people like, I've lived here 10 years and I didn't know that place existed. And I'm like, well, that's a tragedy. I'm like, we gotta figure out how we can make people realize that these amazing businesses, variety exist. And I think hearing you talk about the Performing Arts Center is, obviously I've only been here a year, but I didn't know all that the Performing Arts Center did. And it's so cool to hear like the excellence that it's operated with. I think that when people hear, sometimes locals, I think for the most part people love their community, but they're like, why here? It's just so random, like whatever. I'm like, I don't think you realize how amazing it is here, how determined the whether it's city, business owners, community members are just driven towards a common goal of like, hey, we really want it to be great and excellent here.
That's true.
So I don't know, it's really cool to hear.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. And I think that this is in my opinion, it's because we have relationships with each other. and partnerships with each other. So, when you talk about the chamber, you talk about the school district, you talk about the city, you talk about the businesses, the focus is really about, our community, but community is only built on relationships and support and conversations, brainstorming, thinking outside the box, really communicating to the community, educating our students, educating our kids, supporting our parents and our families. And I think that's what builds a great community. And, it takes a huge village to create a culture of that. So, when we live here every day, I think we take for granted sometimes the gifts that we have, because we just think it's like this everywhere. We assume this is, there's not, everything isn't always positive. There's always people that, question this and question that. And it's really lack of information. If it's a problem at all, it's just being educated in what all happens. But it's really about everybody understanding that the relationship and the culture is what builds a community, and the support of, having a big casserole of what life, work and living and being happy and supported and jobs and all the things that a community needs to build on. That's the most important part. And it's, I can tell you, I deal with a lot of people that come into Broken Arrow from out of town. So that's either theater goers, ticket buyers, season ticket holders. We have people come from all over the states to come watch shows here, believe it or not. People think it's just local. It's not. We don't just market local. It's Tulsa regional area, but it's also all around this 4-state area. And we have people come from all over the country to watch shows. And our boot camp families that come and stay for 11 days. And when they leave, they think we're a Hallmark movie. They can't believe, like, when they walk down the Rose District and how the arts are and education are supported and partnered with other groups, and how we have created a place where they can come and visit but feel like, man, I just had an experience.
100%. And well, I think, I say this too because I do a lot of digital media in the ad space and content creation and all that. But I think if it stops at that, we're missing out on the most important component, like what you said, is the relationship building and the in-person events, whether that is theater or that is community events or that is even networking gatherings, whatever it is. I think we can go, we have the digital connection, so we're good. It's like, then we never really truly know each other and know people, and then even have an escape from our day-to-day at times where, like, I feel like you look back and historically there was always, like, theater or arts components. That was always like a cornerstone to community. And I don't know, I've never, I'll be honest, I haven't gone to a lot of theater performances, but I don't know why. Maybe it's just I haven't sought them out. I haven't known about them. But I do remember I went to one Broadway show. I think it was Aladdin, maybe. But I was young, but we were up in the nosebleeds. And you could see, like, all of the, trap doors and everything on the stage. That was the coolest thing ever. And it's almost like a sport at that point. Those people are so athletic and so talented. And I'm all over on that. But I did want to ask, with people coming in from all over the country and all over the state and surrounding states, what is that program and how is it so known? How does somebody outside of the country know, hey, this is going on here in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma?
So which program are you
speaking of? Your boot camp.
Oh, the boot camp.
Yeah.
So of course, we have our social media is really what the big, I guess, communicator is. Kristen has over 1 million followers.
Wow.
And so when we push stuff out in her name, it does fly all over the world. So, she's a blessing. She is so much about the legacy of kids growing up healthy in this career path, because it's a hard one. People take for granted the idea that they're stars and they're famous, but it's a hard road to travel. And so there's a part of that about, one, bringing opportunity to kids in areas that they don't necessarily have all of the resources. So Broadway in Oklahoma, who'd have thought? But what's funny is we have more Oklahoma kids in the program that make it rant from a random audition. We don't necessarily look where they're from. It's just like when they audition, who makes the cut. And we had the first cut that we did from the audition zero, there was 160 kids that any single one of them could have come. And we had to take it down to like, our goal was 75, but we couldn't. We had 89 is what we took. So social media is the biggest communicator to answer your question.
Yeah.
And it's really having the resources and the viewers that can see that and having the following that helps.
Yeah.
So, but we have gone out and sent, emails and information to art schools and educators across the globe, and really the communication process is a difficult one, but yet it's, with social media, it's so much easier than it used to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it happens, is really, it's about that social media connection. So like when you talk about what you do for a living, it is a powerful resource. It's a powerful resource. You got to do the work to build the following, but once you get it and you get eyes on it, it is the best communicator these days that we have, and all the whatever platforms you choose. And you of course, and we of course know that your communication platform is really age specific. So you're not going to hit the young kids on Facebook, and you're not going to hit the 55 and up on Instagram so much. You can tell by your insights and your views what age groups are seeing. So Facebook isn't our biggest one, but we put it on there because parents see it. And Instagram and TikTok are our bigger ones for the kids. So knowing your resources, right?
Yeah.
Communicate it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a crazy tool for me, getting down here and just meeting people, and people who I've, met and interacted with because they saw, my TikTok, which is just so funny because, not that I don't put effort into it. I definitely do. But a lot of it is just like, hey, here's a random video of something I enjoy doing. And they're like, yeah, I saw you on TikTok, whether it's a city member or someone at the church I'm going to, or a guy at Walmart the other day said, you're that guy from TikTok, right? I was like, I guess I am. But yes, very powerful tool. I mean, when used correctly, can help us to build community, which it seems like that's what you guys are able to do. So when people decide, I'm fascinated by the boot camp thing. When people decide that they want to try and be a part of this boot camp, they have to come and then audition for that boot camp?
So COVID threw us into virtual auditions. So
Gotcha.
we do video auditions, and they have to do up to 7 videos, which are different components. So they have to do one that's, of course, musical theater singing. They provide a dance video. They provide a get to know me video. They have to do a monologue video. So there's several things that they have to do, which gives us kind of a wide scope of where their strengths are. So it's not necessarily that everyone has to be the great singer. They might be a great dancer, because musical theater, acting, singing, and dancing are your trifecta. So, and then also hearing the kids' stories. A lot of kids that come to this camp live in places where they don't even have an arts program. We had a girl come from Taiwan. They don't even have theater over there. Like, there's no musical theater programs for her to be a part of. Her connection to musical theater is all what she sees online. And she sings and she dances, but she doesn't have any way to do that where she lives. So she flew from Taiwan to be in this camp.
Wow.
We've had kids from England, from, of course, Canada. We've had kids from Australia. We have 3 kids from Australia this year. We've had kids audition from Ireland, from Portugal, from, I could probably tell you at least 20 to 30 countries that have auditioned. And so they have to come with a parent. Parent has to come with them, and then the parent has their own experience here. But, it's so fun kind of being their travel agent, because I get to say, hey, we've got this awesome farmer's market, and we've got this, place down the street where you can go. The moms all went and made soap at Magnolia Soap, and they all went to different restaurants and gathered together to eat together. And they've gone up to the Pioneer Woman and seen her place up there, and the lodge, and Philbrook, and oh my gosh, Gathering Place, all the places that we have around here to let the parents have an experience. They feel like they were at camp too, but for adults. So The kids, though, gosh, the excitement and the friendships that they make that become long term
Mm-hmm.
are just priceless. And again, it's relationship building. Arts is the tool. Arts is the train that we take to get there, but it's really about feeding these kids um, healthy culture, about how to treat people, about how to be supportive. So, for instance, we talking about partnerships, we take Stars on Stage as part of the boot camp. So our Stars on Stage kids that are local come for a night. They talk about what they do, how they do theater, and what it does and to impact their lives. So kind of like you heard at Rotary, like when Cooper and Noah came to speak, how has it changed them where they have been stars on stage, the
Mm.
star on stage? How have they overcome being scared about having conversation with people, standing up and singing in front of people, memorizing lines, becoming partners with someone to work as a team? You know, them and their mentor have to be a team. How to work the schedules, like we work as far as rehearsals 3 nights a week for an hour and a half, so it's up to 6 hours a week that they're rehearsing for
Mm-hmm.
that. How to stay disciplined in that journey that they take. So Stars on Stage comes to a night, they kind of do a testimonial, kind of like you heard at
Yeah.
Rotary, which is why we're connected here today.
Mm-hmm.
And they tell the boot camp kids their story, and it's sometimes things that I don't even know,
Mm-hmm.
and they just wow me when it comes to telling how much the program means. And again, arts is the vehicle, but the outcome of it is more relationship based, confidence, um, teamwork, discipline, all the things that are byproducts of that train ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that is, I think, just as important is the parent relationship. So the first year we did this, I walked around because I'm trying to bring in, feedback. And I sat down with some parents at one night and I said, "How do you feel like things are going? Everything feel good? The kids going home okay?" And this mom started crying and I thought, "Oh no, maybe something's not right." And she said, "Kim, I don't think you know how isolating it is to have a kid with disabilities because we don't get invited to birthday parties. We don't have big friend groups. Every time we try to go do something that's neurotypical, I'm on edge because I don't want my kid to be left out. I don't want them not to be able to do what they're supposed to do. I say that in quotes. I don't want them to have a breakdown to where they get traumatized because I put them in something they're uncomfortable doing." And she said, I've never been in a place where I could send my kid, know that however they came in that day is absolutely fine, that I know they've got someone with them, that they're supported, they're understood, and I can sit back and trust that and not worry, but I also get to meet people that understand what this feels like and talk about, things if they've had issues, how they've solved it, how they've, ordered wheelchairs or they've been sick or they need therapy. Um, the parents become really close because they're in their own network too. They're in their safe
Yeah.
space.
Yeah, we had a parent came and spoke at Rotary, and he shared with us. It was powerful, very powerful, because he shared, and he was very honest. He's just like, when I found out I was having a son who had special needs, I didn't know what that would meant. He was into sports. He's like, my son's not gonna be in. I tried to push him towards baseball or football or golf or whatever, and nothing worked. And it kind of shattered his reality as to what he probably had built up as to, this is what my son is going to be. These are the things he's going to like, and that kind of left his son more like isolating in his room and at home and stuff like that. But then he talked about like his experience at Stars on Stage and how he was able to, not only for his son, now to see his son interacting with other people with special needs and just all the people at the theater, making friends. But he said that it not only, like you were talking about, not only did it bring his son community, he now has parents that he does birthday parties with. They go out to meals, they go to happy hour, they, do all these things, and they can relate on things that maybe a lot of other people can't. So I think, hearing him share, and he got a little teary eyed, wiped it away pretty quickly. But hearing that story, it's like, wow, like that is such a powerful thing. And it's got to be a really rewarding, but also very difficult at times of a program, I would imagine. Just all of the unique needs and figuring out and trial and error. And here's what you need. Maybe you need more time. Maybe you need this. I think they shared that one of the students one of the stars, he loved driving past like a certain billboard after the show. So that was a motivator for him to do well and to listen. It was, you get to see this billboard after we leave. But I don't know, just the testimonies were all so powerful to hear. So
the correlation between these two camps that we put on, our stars kids and our boot camp kids are living the same dream, and all it is to be seen, to be heard, be in community, and have relationships in something that they love to do. It's their innate talent and their love. And that doesn't matter whether it's sports, if people love to play baseball or, it's about community. It's about relationships. I always bring that home. And, people say, gosh, you got the coolest job. And, and you're right. We work hard, and it's a life scheduled for us. Like we have to schedule our lives around that theater. But I can tell you, if you really stand back and say, did my job make an impact? Did what I do make an impact? And the full force is, it's not about my job that makes the impact, but the fact that we create a culture and a community and a space for people to gather, to share, to have live experiences. Like, with social media, that's a great communicator, but it's not tangible. It's not hitting your senses like in real time. And so these days we are so inundated with what's on our phones, and our heads are down and we're buried, that we're missing a lot of times what's in the space we're in. Even in my own life, I sit there and I'm sitting at this, whether it be, beside a lake or in a park or with my friends. And a lot of times we get that phone out and we're missing what's happening. Even people eating dinner. You look at people eating dinner. It's like, are you going to talk to each other? You're going to be on your phone with stuff. And not that social media is not important. It's a, and our phones and our intake of that is important. We're learning, we're growing, we're experiencing, we're getting ideas, we're brainstorming, we're seeing what other people are doing. But it cannot replace what it is to be in the room with somebody.
Yeah.
It can't replace, like if you and I were doing this through Zoom, totally different experience.
Yeah. 100%.
We're sitting in the room, looking at each other.
Yeah.
Right. And we're talking to each other and we're sharing this and this experience in this little room, even though a lot of people are going to be in this room with us.
Yeah. Right.
They're not here today. Right. Right. In this moment. Theater is that. Theater is putting people together to have an experience a thing that's live to the senses. That's the difference. And it's such a important thing that I think COVID kind of really pulled us out of, and we're creeping back into going, I need this live interaction.
Yeah.
I need this experience. That's the whole thing, that you're selling an experience right now, right? And the experience when it's live is so impactful. So when you heard those kids talk, and you heard our parent talk, and you experienced the tears, and you saw the excitement, and you saw them, doing their I call their sales pitch of selling what they're trying to get you to buy, right? And that's Cooper and Noah. That's who was there that day. They are just a hoot to be around.
Yeah.
They have changed. Those kids have changed my life more than I could have ever changed theirs. And when you talk about rehearsals, you talk about the boot camp, you talk about these children, these kids that we get to be around. There's nothing that feeds us more as humans than watch them experience hard things, challenging things. When we've got a kid that's crying because they don't know how to do this dance, and you walk up and say, you know what, you can do this. Like, let's go over here and learn it. And then you see them the last night perform it and come off just like they won the Olympic gold medal, and our parents watching, like, oh gosh, I have so many things. Like and this is boot camp in Stars on Stage. They walk in that first day nervous. They don't know everybody. They don't know for sure what's going to happen. It's kind of like this discomfort is overwhelming, and by the time they get to the end, it's like they don't want to leave. And so you've gotten to see this journey of growth of all of us that have to sit in things that are uncomfortable and walk through it, right? And that the end goal is bigger than they ever imagined it to be. The reward and the gift that they walk away with was nothing they could have ever imagined. Like, who wouldn't want to be in the room with that? So it's not about like what Kim does, it's not about what our team does, but the fact that we're there to support this journey and be the one driving the train. Like, we're the team on the train, the engineer and the caboose, the guys taking the train down the road, making sure it stays on the tracks. But what happens inside of it is what is the miracle of it all.
Yeah.
So that's theater. And that's what that Performing Arts Center on the corner of 81st and Main does every day. It's a pretty unique and beautiful thing that happens in that every day. I'm just the luckiest person on earth to just get to be in the room and experience it.
Yeah, I mean, and I love that you say it that way. It's so cool because I think what I'm realizing more and more with, the podcasting, for me, it's just been a really cool tool to be like, hey, there's not that we would never have ended up in a room talking. I'm sure we would have met, but it's a way where I can go, hey, these are people I want to talk to. Like, let's do it and let's share this conversation with people. I'm realizing I'm really drawn to. I want to help people market their businesses. I want to help share their story, but I'm also realizing I'm really drawn to the people who are not only operating their business to make a bunch of money or their program to gain, notoriety for themselves, but it's something bigger than themselves. It is community oriented, or it is, they're really focused on clean, healthy foods, and that's what they sell at their store, or they're, they do, I'm at a company that's like, they do roll off dumpsters, but they also have like a component where they want to help veterans through their process. And I don't know, there are so many people that I've met who really have that, where they're like, I'm just blessed to be able to offer the service that I'm offering. And that's how I feel with what I'm doing now as it's coming together, where I'm like, I get to meet, this person, I get to have this conversation. It truly is like, if I can have the smallest impact on the people I'm meeting, it's so rewarding and fulfilling. And I don't know, it's so cool to hear you talk about all those stories. I just think of the Stars on Stage or the boot camp, like, just, I can't imagine how that first time when you were saying like that mom's crying and you're like, oh no, like, what's going on? Yeah. And she's like, my life has changed basically for the better because of this. That's so cool. The Performing Arts Center, I think, is such an important thing, and I'm really excited to get out to a show. I would love it. This is my long way of getting to a question, but I would love it if you could share, like, what's going on this summer. You have boot camp, but what else is there for the community to look forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our school district, our fine arts programs are extraordinary, and that also is because our Board of Education and our administration and our schools support the arts in one of the biggest ways. Where in some school districts, arts are going away, our school district's going the other way around. I mean, it has been a long-standing tradition here where arts is a major component of keeping kids in school, of creating community and relationships. Same thing I'm going back to. So when we talk about the school district, we do 152 events with our kids just in fine arts.
Wow.
Just in fine arts. And, we've had esports tournaments. We've had, it's not just our fine arts kids. I mean, more kids come in there. Every year we have something for all of our age groups in elementary every year, where they come in all together, where there's 1,400 second graders come in and they experience a live event, whether it be the symphony or we have a Travis and Friends, which is a dog show where he teaches kindness and how to say thank you and culture, right? How to be a good person. But that's the first thing is if you want to see, we have, of course, all their parents and grandparents and aunts and uncles come. So there's the school district events. There's so many. You could probably come to something at least once or twice a week. Wow. So there's that part. Then there's the spotlight series, which Arts OK presents. So this year we have 5 shows. They start in October. There's one every month, and we just, in fact, opened the season today. We just announced
Wow.
it today on our socials, and so you can buy season tickets and save some money and buy to all shows and have your own seats for that, or buy tickets to individual shows. And those are, when you spoke about Aladdin, one of our first act is Michael James Scott, and he was Aladdin on Broadway, the longest
Wow.
standing Aladdin on Broadway ever. He's also in Scrubs on ABC, and
Okay.
does all kinds. Book of Mormon, he's in Book of Mormon, and so he's our first act. And then we have Grady Nichols doing a Christmas show. Straight No Chasers doing a show in November. We're doing Legally Blonde in February, and David Phelps, who's got a huge following around here, who was part of the Gaither Brothers. He's coming. An extraordinary vocalist is coming in January. So there's those 5 shows that you can be a part of. So that's like, national tours that are coming into Broken Arrow. And we'll have people from all over come watch those shows, which is one of the fun things, to meet people from, different states and from around the country. And then, of course, the Broadway Boot Camp is this summer. It begins, the kids fly in the 15th of July. The show's the 25th. It's cheap, $10 a ticket. And all that is to donate right back to the camp. It's not to make money. It's just to keep the camp going. And so if you want to come see Broadway professionals and these kids from all over the country perform together, the show is extraordinary. We have Tony Award-winning people that teach the camp. And so July 25th, you can call the box office and get tickets for $10, super cheap. And Kristen will be here, so that's July 25th. And then Stars on Stage will take off rehearsals when school starts in September, and their shows the first weekend of February always. And that is a 3-night run. So I'm not sure what we're doing this year. We haven't quite picked it, but whatever it is, it'll be amazing. And again, if you buy tickets to that, they're not expensive. But every dime of that goes right back into that's what funds us to do the next year. So you're not only buying a ticket, you're donating to these programs when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, in a nutshell. I mean, gosh, you can pick and choose how you want to.
And all those are on all of those are probably on the
We have
the
a website, our socials, and yeah, you can look it all up. Our school district events we'll put on when school starts.
Yeah.
Because right now we're kind of in a quiet time in the summer, but we'll inundate and it's also, we also have a fine arts social media that posts everything that's happening. Gosh, probably there's every week probably 10 to 12 concerts going on somewhere, whether it's at the school or a church or our places. But we're a busy bunch of
You don't
fools,
say.
right? Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we have this one show a month out. No, we have stuff all the time. No,
Yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, and that is so cool, because there are so many things to check out, at this one location in the heart of Broken Arrow in the Rose District.
Yeah.
And beautiful building, but I haven't been inside.
Yeah. Well, you should come. I'll give you a personal tour.
I'll get a tour.
You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked at what it does. It's one of the only, one of the first, not going to say only anymore, but one of the first automated rigging systems that was put in a theater, which means everything's run by a computer when we drop things in and out from the sky, we'll call it. So it's got a lot of really cool features, a lot of history, had a lot of famous people perform there. We've had Carol Burnett, Patti LuPone, Bernadette Peters, Vince Gill, Lyle Lovett, William Shatner. I mean, we've had all kinds of famous people perform in the venue, and more to come. But it is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful building. But I will always say it's what happens inside that, as far as community goes, whatever that community group that's in there that's celebrating and creating relationships and putting themselves in a vulnerable place on stage to show their talent and to share that with others as arts consumers is pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
It's a what it does is far more important than money in a bank account. Not that it doesn't take money to do all of it, just like with what you do. We can't do all this for free, but the impact it makes is what is the magic and the thing that really feeds all of us that give our time to do it.
Mhm.
So,
Well, thank you for all you do, and thank you for coming on and having a conversation.
well, thanks for the opportunity, and it's people like you that are bringing people to the table to have these conversations and to educate and communicate what all happens around here. And it
Yeah.
is, I just hope sometimes people need to sit back and go, wow, we are lucky to live where we live and to have the resources and the culture and the community that we get to grow up in and raise our kids in. Broken Arrow's a special place
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah, well said.